Hello and welcome to podcast number 74. It's the Pretty Good Gaming podcast. Hosting duty today is by me, Jake Kulkowski. Mike Williams, our regular host, is a little bit unwell today, so we're going to try and give him a bit of rest. And of course, Liam McKelvey in the middle.
Hey.
Unless you're listening to this, in which case it doesn't matter where we're sitting. And you might be listening to this because we're now on Castbox, Spotify, iTunes, and all decent podcast providers.
normal podcast places.
Yeah,
which is a brave new world for us. But
it really is. It's something that makes sense though. So if you're listening to this or watching this on YouTube and you want to take us with you in a car now, so there should be a link in the description to find us on Spotify. And yeah, how about that? So anyway, we're on the 74th podcast, which is nearly 2 years of it, and we've got the basic setup is this. Our lovely Patreon supporters get to ask us questions every single week. If you are a Patreon supporter and interested in figuring out how you can ask us a question, simply reply to this Patreon post with your questions. We answer questions every single week with a couple of little features in between. And I'll kick us off with a question from Mounty. Hi guys. I'm starting off in a great way, by the way. Okay. It's the end of the world. Civilization as we know it is gone. People are almost wiped out. I like how he's put a bit of lore
just
in
reading out the actual news there.
Yeah, almost wiped out. Only a few survivors remain. Those that remain are trying to gather the greatest works mankind has made, works of art, music, and books. What games do you preserve for the next civilization to find? Do you go personal and get a game that you love, or do you pick a game like Space Invaders, which is a classic? So, first of all, there's kind of two ways you can take this, isn't there? You can go what you find important to you, or you can go with like the answer that we hear about the best games. So what would you guys do?
I would, if you're going to have a fair representation, it'd probably just be Fortnite, innit? That's what everyone's playing. And if you want if it's like a time capsule and you want a fair reflection of what everyone was doing in 2018, Fortnite.
I suppose, but what happens if they dig
That's
it up?
depressing, I know.
What happens if they dig it up in like 3170 and there's no one online, the servers are down? They're going to not
They'll have to make new servers, won't they?
I guess we might... Yeah. They're going to have to... All right, so that's the first thing. They found it. They're like, all right, well... So, Fortnite, but somehow with the servers and gameplay and...
Let's not worry about the details. So let's just put a server in there as well, do you know what I mean?
There's plenty of ninja videos, though, can watch to
understand what that's all it is.
If they somehow preserve the internet archives or whatever.
Yeah, it's a key to the gate. They'll know the word to search on whatever space Google is. So you'd pick Fortnite out of the entire legacy of...
well, it's just the fairest, if I can only pick one, it's got to be the one that everyone's playing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a fair point.
So just to be clear, the greatest works mankind has ever made, art, music and books, you'd have like Johann Sebastian Bach, Citizen Kane, Fortnite.
Citizen Kane, but you'd also, is this for like academic, or is it like here's what we achieved?
Do you know,
is it like here's a record?
Ended, so I imagine it's like former civilizations.
So you want to leave your best stuff.
I think it's like that. I think they have like an archive, don't they, in America where it's something so good that they put it in there. It's so good it must be preserved forever. They're not going to preserve Black Ops 3 or whatever. But so I guess it's a game. I think it's a game that you feel is the best example we've ever had of a video game.
A game?
Yeah.
Was Bloodborne in it?
Well, of course. Yeah, of course. Liam, what do you reckon? Are you going to go down the Fortnite route as well?
No, I'm going to... Because it's the end of the world. People need a bit of happiness in their life. And what is not, bring you complete joy. They discover it. I imagine there's like aliens, zombies everywhere.
Yeah, he's building it up. I like it.
Is that aliens, zombies, or like aliens, zombies?
Everything's happened.
Yeah.
So people,
all of it.
Zombies from another planet is what.
In this bleak post-apocalyptic future, people need happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, give them Bloodborne, right?
No, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker.
That would be
because that is just pure joy. So
that's two answers I didn't expect. Yeah, Captain the Treasure Tracker. And Fortnite.
You didn't expect me to say
the world's already bleak enough. We need Captain Toad to steer us into the light.
Imagine that, and imagine if they started like building monuments in his honor. Sort of like they all looked up to this mushroom, this giant mushroom. I think I'd pick Fable 1 because even though it's not my
Lovely.
personal favorite ever game, I think that it's a cool little capsule of all these different little, loads of the things that happen in games like choices matter and the RPG system, and because of the voice acting as well, it's got a lot of different accents in that. You've got a lot of variety. You've got quite a lot you'd pick out, and also it's obviously it's a highly fantasized version of like what life was like way back then, but taverns and all that.
It just gives you, it gives you the thing of, because it's all about heroes and heroism, and it gives you the sense that of like legend. That's a good choice. That's a really good choice.
Exactly, like legend and that, and it feels like if you were an alien race, I'm imagining they would feel like that we really did live in somewhere like that once. So it'd be a bit educational.
But if we put Bloodborne in there, it'd scare the fuck out of them. They'd be like, Jesus Christ.
Well,
exactly.
The aliens that might find it might be the old ones, and they might think it's like relatable content. And they'll be like,
these lads are trying to get to us.
Yeah. They thought we were the baddies. So thanks very much, Mounty, for the first question about the bleak end of civilization. And next up, Easty Loves Games. And this is another one. Wondered what your opinions are on procedural generation in games. Kind of on topic, I guess, because of No Man's Sky next.
Yeah.
I know depending on the game, it can work well, but often, in many games, it's touted as every level being different. Though in the end, I find it gets very boring seeing the same graphics and textures and no design. And it happens often where I really wish some games had just well-designed levels rather than randomly generated. So, procedural generation, where do you guys stand on this?
I think it works well in like roguelike games, like Binding of Isaac, Enter the Gungeon, because it makes every run fresh and it keeps you on your toes. That's the whole point of a roguelike. They don't want you to memorize the level layout and all that. So I think it's key to those games. But other than that, I generally prefer just well-designed, handcrafted stuff.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, it's just preference. I just think that's better.
It's a tool, procedural generation, when doing it by hand is completely unfeasible. Like No Man's Sky, there's no, it's a matter of mathematical, how it would be unbelievably difficult, and it'd be impossible. Like, in terms of maths and physics, impossible to actually do it. Because it's that big. So procedural generation does it for you, and then they've obviously spent a long time before launch trying to get it right, and then after launch, because it's only now that it's to me doing what it promised it would do in terms of finding unique planets. And that's what I was, with No Man's Sky, it wasn't about there's no multiplayer and all that. I just felt like there wasn't enough variety in the planets. That was my biggest problem with the game when it came out. Now it feels proper. It feels like you're on a proper alien planet, and you feel. I've seen loads of people play streaming it and stuff, and you've shown me some planets that on your game and stuff, Jake, and they just all seem so different. There's proper barren moons that are featureless, and then there are some that are just like really like Earth with proper valleys and forests and seas and oceans and stuff, and they're just building on top of that now. And I think it's the kind of thing. That's the great thing about it, is that you haven't designed a level that's bad. You've just kind of generated an infinite amount of them that aren't a certain, so you can change the way you generate them and change the entire game just by changing a few details in the way it works. And I think for certain games like No Man's Sky, you couldn't have done it another way, could you?
Yeah.
Well, quintillion, just in case people have forgotten the numbers, like 15 or 18 quintillion. Like, there's no way you could do that by hand. You're right. Something you said, Mike, yesterday in the office is for me anyway, perfectly sums up this situation. We were looking at the news cycle all week, and one thing that keeps popping up is articles about No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
And you said everyone's writing articles about their unique planets. It's a game about unique planets.
Yeah.
And that's really the interesting thing, because it's always had unique planets, but no one really wanted to write articles about it back then, because they were so enough. They were unique in the sense that bacteria is unique. You just go, oh right,
yeah,
that
they were just different color.
Yeah, but now it's unique and inspiring.
Yeah.
It seems to be getting, so now people do want to talk about it all of a sudden, and that is because they've really owned in on this. Like, they kind of figured out what people like about certain planets, I guess. I don't know what they've done. They've sort of fine-tuned it, not based on the mathematical probability of life, because that's what originally they were doing. They were saying, maybe only one in every, so-and-so thousand planets would be full of life. They've now just gone, right, well, the players want this. It seems that they've gone that way, because nearly every planet I've seen has had life on it, and back then that was something that they were touting, and that's something that is in the favour of that. So I guess what I'm saying is procedural generation has to be very well supervised to be effective, especially if it's going to be the main focal point in your game. I was going to say what Liam said, but he smashed it out in like the first sentence, and that's my answer gone. But Binding of Isaac, the focal point of that isn't the exploration or the level design. It's like just being Isaac crying on enemies, and you know, and seeing what items you can find in those combinations. But in No Man's Sky, the procedural generation is the main event. So if you don't get that right, you know, I remember we did a video maybe about a year and a half ago about EA saying the future of games would be kind of how, you know, like Vermintide and Left 4 Dead have those AI directors.
Yeah.
That they'd be working to generate the next bits of levels and the next bits of NPCs that you'd meet bits of. The next NPCs that you'd meet, maybe bits of. And I imagine, like this is what Easty was saying in this question, like I can imagine that would be huge, but I'd probably prefer like 10 small, well-designed levels over 100 levels that might work.
Yeah.
Be good for anecdotes, be good for articles about, you know, my unique experiences, but then they end up sounding like dreams where everyone has unique dreams and not so many people actually fucking care.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly like dreams. Yeah, that's what you were talking about earlier that I was saying in the office, where there's just articles on all these gaming websites like, oh, I found this planet that's great. And it's like, well, that's what the whole game's about. It's like writing articles saying I shot a guy in Call of Duty. Do you know what I mean? It's that's the whole point. And I'm very happy that the game is like that now, and that you know, you can go out and find stuff. But people have just got this urge to tell people about the planets that they found because they know that they're like the first people that have seen it. Yeah. And they're the first people that have gone, well, this is mine, this is perfect for me. I can make a base here and I can do all this, you know. But they know that not even the developers have seen it. And that's quite a special thing. But then if you transfer that philosophy to most other games, it just doesn't work. It just works perfectly in No Man's Sky because it's supposed to be an infinite universe like the real universe, so that you can't do that by hand. And there are games that do it. There are space games that do it, but obviously it's going to be more limited in terms of the amount of planets, the amount of star systems, the amount of everything, because someone's got to design them, you know.
Do you think that if every game became procedurally generated, like we'd lose that collective discussion and stuff like that? Like No Man's Sky is cool because I can talk to you about planets and you can talk to me about planets. Imagine if every game was so unique that we wouldn't be able to relate.
Well, isn't it like some EA executive or something was talking about this before, and they were saying like eventually it's going to be that every single gamer has a completely different experience, and if you want that kind of
what I was on about a minute ago, it was the same discussion, wasn't it? And you know, I think it ended up a bit silly about saying like, you know, your game might even be connected to what you've got in your fridge and stuff like that. Can you remember that? But I don't know how well we'll be able to discuss that because it's going to be so unique that we'll have not many common experiences apart from, you know, if you use this gun. Yeah, I've used this gun to do this. All right, well, I used my gun to do this. But it ends up being so different. It's not like Fable 1 to go back to that, you know. Oh, you've done Bowerstone. Yeah, I've done Bowerstone.
Yeah, and you can talk about Bowerstone. You can talk about everything that happens in Bowerstone and the NPCs in it. But you can't, you know, if the nature of things being unique is that everything is unique. So if someone goes, oh, I found the best planet. Well, but if I sat home and fired it up and played it for an hour, I would find a planet that I would be equally excited about, and I would, you know, it's a subjective thing. But if everything is unique, nothing is unique in some ways. Do you know what I mean? Because it doesn't matter how special your planet is or whatever. That's what the game is. The game's there to give you these kind of special moments, and I think that works particularly well in No Man's Sky. It could work in something like Sea of Thieves and anything where there's a vast expanse and the whole point is to explore it.
I mean, it works in Far Cry. Like, just going around the world, people have different stories about like animals attacking them.
Yeah, there's some dynamism there, isn't there?
Yeah, just weird things happening in the world. And that people love talking about that in Far Cry games at least.
Yeah.
It'll generate stories, hopefully, and I just think, you know, if games do go into future procedures generated, hopefully they'll still retain a multiplayer aspect, because if us three went through a completely unique experience, but we went through it together, at least we could talk amongst ourselves about, remember that time when that crazy shit happened. But if we all did it separately, I think it might do something.
I think the bottom line with it all, for me, is that the fact that if I look at my top 10 games ever, not one of them is procedurally generated. They're all, you know, carefully designed and curated, and everything I love about Bloodborne is deliberate, and everything I love about you know, Ocarina of Time and Fable, like you said, and all these games is carefully placed, and someone's gone, it'll be a good idea to do this specifically, you know, rather than just fill a corridor with a load of shit. They've carefully placed things in that corridor themselves, and you know, so I think all my favorite games are handmade,
artistic vision and drive, and a lot of focus will probably trump procedural generation for a long time.
It's gonna. But No Man's Sky is such an exciting. If you imagine what that could be like in 20 years, it's pretty exciting. Like in terms of what it could be eventually. You know,
this is a conversation that could just fucking generate itself. Terrible. I was just trying to segue in. I don't know how to do it. So thanks very much, EC Love Games. Huge good conversation. It is, and again, it could go on forever. And that was not, And I understand there that even though I wasn't intending to make a pun, what I didn't do is, even though I warned you ahead of time, I didn't change course. I just went straight through it, and I shouldn't have done that. Lady B Games next asks, inquiring minds, namely mine, want to know what game boss kicked your butts the hardest and how did you finally beat them? And conversely, have you ever found a boss battle to be anticlimactic? So we've got one of each here.
Loads of bosses have beat the shit out of me. Yeah. Like mentally and physically. No, I don't know what that means, but...
take a physical strain on his body. He comes in
she punches me through the TV.
Just eye strain, really severe eye strain, isn't it?
Most recently, Pontiff Sullivan in Dark Souls 3 made me take like a month-long break from the game.
Yeah. We know where this conversation's going to lead to in a minute, Liam, don't we? So, I just got to say, I join you in the Pontiff Sullivan sort of support group, and that's the same answer for me. But you beat him in the end.
I did beat him in the end on my first try after a month-long break. But the ever famous Drakengard boss, the musical boss, which is absolute bollocks.
I watched footage of that.
The musical boss doesn't sound that scary, but when you know what it is,
it is when it's a 7-minute long rhythm game that sends you back to the start for missing.
I watched footage of it. I didn't even live it. I watched footage of the fight, and I was like, imagine living that.
That was easily the longest I've ever spent on a single boss. And I don't know, there was another one. I can't remember who it was. I think, do you remember the game Dust and Elysian Tale? That weird little Metroidvania game. I played on hard, and the final boss of that was really difficult.
Was he ramped up compared to the others as well?
Yeah, it was like a sheer difficulty spike, and that took me ages.
I can't... Can you think of an anticlimactic boss?
Loads of them in Dark Souls 2. Loads of them in...
Any of the 41
Pinwheel.
bosses.
Yeah. That's such a shit boss. Pinwheel.
Yeah, he has like a pretty cool animation, doesn't he?
Yeah, and then you can kill him after.
You see his 3.
Yeah. It's like two, 3 hits and he's gone.
Yeah.
It's like, what's that for?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a weird thing, isn't it? It's obviously because you take these bosses on and everyone's at different levels and stuff like that, but it does feel like everyone says he goes down in like 3 hits. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because sometimes you could kill a boss that someone struggled with in like 4 or 5 hits because your character's, you've come at it at a different point in the game. You've maybe left it or ignored it or whatever. You go back to it later and you've just annihilated them. But everyone says the Pinwheel goes down in 3 hits.
Almost to the point where you've got to think, have they done it? Is it part of some lore or something?
Yeah.
Like it
might be.
He's in the middle of the catacombs. He has this like scuttling animation, this big, it's this big intro, and then give him a couple of swipes, he's down.
I'm surprised there's not a boss in there that's really big and scary and intimidating, and you think, fuck, I'm never going to do it. And he's really aggressive, but you finally get to him and hit him once, and he goes down straight away.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It feels like that's a Soulsy kind of thing, but that hasn't happened.
Yeah.
I've actually got another very anticlimactic boss.
Go on.
I can't remember what he's called, but the final boss of Halo 4. It's literally mash A for a bit, mash X, done.
They're the worst.
Roll credits.
Yeah,
they spend like, it's a 10-hour game that spends like most of its runtime like bigging him up as this grand villain. And it's just mash A for a bit and he's done.
Nothing worse than that when he spend hours building it up. Mike, what about you? Hard bosses?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's plenty of hard bosses. I totally agree with you there. With them button mashing ones are the worst, man.
Yeah.
There was a period between like 2007 and 2014, isn't it? Like just say that kind of generation where like button mashing was everywhere and like button prompts were everywhere, and all these final bosses. I can't think of any specific examples, but I can remember a few times in like the 360 era being like, what was that? And I was just like pressing A, pressing B. Pressing X. Oh, I completed the game.
Pushing A to get your character out of a chokehold on a wall.
Yeah.
They're always doing that on a wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, I can think of a few button mashing bosses that are actually really good.
Come on.
The end of Bayonetta 1,
right,
it literally ends with you just mashing X,
Yeah.
and you literally kick God through the world.
Yeah.
Because
How
why
do you top
not?
that?
I think the only time I've
Top
ever
that.
enjoyed that kind of button mashiness is God of War, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it feels just satisfying enough.
Like where you just punch Zeus repeatedly.
Yeah, like what's going on the screen is so massive,
Yeah.
and you're playing like a little guy who's uppercutting gods.
Giant dragons.
Yeah,
And that.
yeah. It's this there's a meatiness to it that
Metal
just
Gear
just about
Rising is
works.
great for button mashing bosses.
Let me tell you about button mashing bosses.
Yeah.
You've got a definitive list of like 5.
So Rising is the one is the platinum one, right? The one with cartwheels and slicing
literally
stuff.
the first boss
yeah.
is a giant Metal Gear mech hits you with a sword. You just mash X and you suplex the fucker.
Yeah, you play as Raiden, but kind of half a
Did you
robot.
really suplex them?
Yeah.
That's ace.
Google it.
I haven't
Watch
played
it on
one.
YouTube.
Yeah.
It's so good.
No, I totally believe it. I was just like, I mean, if there wasn't a suplex in a Metal Gear game, I'd be...
Yeah, but it's a bit weird, isn't it? It's like, how's there not a suplex in this one?
Hard bosses for me, I don't know why I struggled so hard with Lady Maria, right? Apart from Demon Souls, I've done all the Souls games.
Yeah.
By the way, and I know, have we told you that we finished Dark Souls recently? Well, we have. But, I mean, you can't talk about hard bosses without this conversation.
Well,
Ask anyone.
exactly.
And I guess that I've done all of them now, apart from Demon Souls, and the one I died to the most, the boss I died to the most, was Lady Maria, for some reason. Don't know why. More than Orphan of Cause, more than anyone else. Lady Maria. Don't even know why. Know why. But I guess...
It just reminded me, Demon Souls final boss really anticlimactic.
Really?
It's literally just like a big pile of goo that you just hit a few times.
They do that, don't they? There's
And it ends-
definitely
A massive...
blob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a placeholder.
It's
It's like
meant to be like the dark spirit of the world
Yeah.
or whatever. And it's just a blob.
they've
in
got
a
two
pool.
placeholders, man. A guy in a suit with a sword, like a knight in a suit.
Not
and a blob.
like a formal dinnerware.
Yeah, not like Hitman, not Agent 47, but like it's like a knight in a some kind of with some kind of quirk, like he's big and fat or he's big and tall. Maybe there's 3 of them. Maybe he can fly a bit. Still, bottom line, he's a guy in a like a metal suit, or he's a blob. He's just a blob, and he rolls over.
We want more blobs in suits.
I reckon the hardest one I want to say is probably Bloodstarved Beast for me because it was really early on, and I played Bloodborne first, right, and it was like the third boss, and I was like so intimidated by it, and it got me fucking loads of times before I got him. And I did it all on my own, no co-op or anything, before I realised that there was guides for everything. Every minute aspect of Dark Souls games, there's a reams of writing about it, but I didn't know. I was just running at it and trying different stuff, setting it on fire and stuff, and I eventually got it. And that was like because that was a big moment, and that is also really when I kind of went, I fucking love this game. Like that was the kind of gear change. So I reckon Bloodstarved Beast. But it's weird. It's weird though, isn't it? Because we talk about the boss fights and stuff a lot. And then, there's the ones I struggle with, and you guys are like, what are you talking about?
Oh, in the Souls.
And vice versa. Both that you mentioned there, I didn't have much trouble with. What did you say earlier? Pontiff Sullivan and Lady Maria. Lady Maria, I got both of them first time. And then, what did I do at the end?
Soul of Cinder.
Dark Souls 3, Soul of Cinder, and the one before that, in the dragon.
Oh, Nameless King, yeah.
Yeah, Nameless King was another one you guys were saying was quite thingy. He was tough, but I got him like the 3rd or 4th time. Soul of Cinder destroyed me. Like I just couldn't get past him. He was ruining my It took me a few days to get past Soul of Cinder. He's the very last boss in the game, and he kind of changes and he does all these different stuff. And it's just like a mental thing. Like I just can't do it. I just can't do it.
Yeah,
and you guys were like, "Oh, I got him second time and all this." And it's like, but that was a tough one. But it's weird how the game does that to you, based on your playstyle, I guess.
Yeah,
which is very clever. I don't know about anticlimactic bosses,
no,
but yeah,
just Dark Souls 2 generally. I've got to say, because there's a period late on in that game where I went through about 10 bosses without dying. It shouldn't be like that, should it?
Like fog wall or whatever every 2 seconds.
There is. Yeah, because like you said earlier, there's about 40 of them.
I think there's 41, I think, not including the DLC.
So it just loses a bit of
The bosses are great. I like them. More games with bosses in, please. That'd be very cool. Cheers, Lady B Games.
Good question.
This one is from Bossosaurus.
Oh, look at that.
Hey.
What name?
Thematic.
Right. It's the longest question as well, so. Was there ever a game you loved so much that didn't get a sequel? Either it was originally slotted for one or not, despite you thinking it deserved it. What was it, and why do you think it didn't get one? And then their personal account is that they absolutely loved Advent Rising, game from 2005 for Xbox, and it was promoted as the first entry of a trilogy. As you can assume based on my question and to my disappointment, I only ever got to play that one game. The bullet time was great, the ability selection and modification system was great, but I guess some people struggled with the story of it and how it was told, and it didn't quite measure up to the hype of Halo 2. Thus, a sequel was never made. So games that were either pegged for a sequel and didn't get one, or you just expected a sequel and didn't get one.
I feel like Liam's got loads of these.
Yeah, Liam's life. Dino Crisis.
Straight off the bat. Well, Dino Crisis had 3 games, so I've got 4 if you count the single spin-off, so I can't really complain there. But Conker's Bad Fur Day was meant to get a sequel called Conker's Other Bad Fur Day, and they had that was what it was going to be called. And they were Rare were talking about it. They had the whole story and scenario planned out. Just never came to fruition because it got caught up in the thing where they were bought by Microsoft.
Yeah.
And rather than make the sequel, Microsoft wanted them to remake the first game. So they did that instead.
Did you? I quite like that though. I did quite like the remake.
The remake, I like it as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just the sequel will never
get treading old ground, isn't it? Where they could have done a new one.
There's loads of Rare games, like Perfect Dark was meant to get a third game, which never happened. That cameo Elements of Power game, that was meant to get a sequel that never happened.
That was like a 360 launch title, wasn't it?
It was good.
Do you know what? Yeah, that was the first. That was the first title on the 360 where I was like, "Whoa, this is so next gen, right?" And it was because there was castle levels, and the stonework on the castles was bumpy. Yeah. Rather than being flat, which is what they were in the last gen, flat textures everywhere, they were just a bit bumpy. And I was like, whoa, that's so good. This is proper, well worth the 300 quid or whatever it was for the 360, you know.
It's just, Rare. They were meant to be making loads of sequels, and they pretty much all just got canned.
That's really good answer, because Rare are absolute sufferers of this. They always end up getting now they're working on games as a service stuff. So
it was made worse when the guy who was meant to be making the Perfect Dark sequel, he released loads of concept art and it's ideas, and it sounded really good.
That's normally when you know it's super dead.
Yeah.
Because they've finally let go of all the stuff that they might have been keeping just in case. So whenever you see concept art for an unreleased game, that's normally when it's game over.
Someone some writer or something has gone, I might as well show you.
I'll lift the lid on it.
Yeah, because and mine's I think got to be Star Wars Battlefront 3, because that was I love the Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2, the old, what was it? Was it not Paradox? Pandemic, that's it. And I love them games. I really, really like them. And then if years later they come out with this footage that's oh, look at this Star Wars Battlefront 3, and it was it was someone taking off in a starship kind of out in orbit and then flying down onto the planet's surface, and then
seamless.
And then a capture the and some kind of capture the battlefield style capture the point thing going on in the traditional Battlefront, and I was like, oh my god, this has got to happen. And I was so excited when Star Wars Battlefront DICE got announced. I was like, I really like DICE because they made Bad Company 2. And I was such a big fan of that game that I was just, I was so happy that they were working on a Star Wars Battlefront game. But I think at this point, I probably would have preferred the Star Wars Battlefront 3 from... Yeah. Do you know what I mean? From
I think most
Pandemic.
people would have,
It would have, I guess it's not a controversial opinion, but it just... Even in the even being a few years old and an older concept and all the technology and stuff, I would have just taken that one, because it just looked like a proper game, but we'll never have it.
I was trying to think of games that I could name that were just one in the series and didn't have a sequel, but there's loads I can think of that had sequels but just not enough, right?
I don't think a lot of sequels do get cancelled in comparison to just games. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
just one-off games.
Yeah, that's the thing, and especially with I can't think of many times when a game's announced it's going to be part of a series and then it just didn't happen.
Yeah,
I remember I was just saying to Liam earlier that Mistwalker were announced as the new big JRPG studio. They did Lost Odyssey and The Last Song and a bunch of mobile games. I remember loving Lost Odyssey and thinking, I want another one of them. Tenchu is a particularly interesting one because it ends on a big plot point cliffhanger, and then it's just not being brought back. Yeah. Even From Software now, who are making Sekiro, we're almost going to do it, but they've announced why they're not doing it. So that means it sounds like it's dead forever. They said that there was a couple of guys that worked there that were really pushing Tenchu's story, and they've all left the company now, like because they were there 20 years ago. So they felt like it was disrespectful to try and bring it back. So that kind of is confirmed that they're not going to do it anymore. So that's a shame. That didn't and never will get a sequel, I don't think. Well, Tenchu Z doesn't count really, but Rapper Heaven, I guess. And yeah, maybe a new sequel to everybody's favourite platformer Croc, because I mean, it just didn't get enough love at the time. So yeah, Croc forever. But that's it.
I'd definitely go to the next question if I was hosting now. I would have cut you off there, mate. I'd have gone like that, but I haven't got the power. I feel really powerless. Someone
should have got some strepsils, and then all the power could have been yours.
I'm a Croc ally as well. So
Croc allies, boy. Legend of Peacock next. Thank you very much, Bossosaurus, by the way. Appreciate the question. Legend of Peacock, new patron, long time gamer, and even longer party animal. I recently saw a trailer. That's what they said. I didn't make that up. This isn't me.
A bold intro.
That is great.
I recently saw a trailer for Darksiders 3, and it looks like a lot of fun. So I played the first 2 Darksiders games in preparation. The first one I absolutely loved. Second one, however, it was just a pain to get through. I enjoyed the combat, but not much else. Have you ever had a similar experience or played the games to completion that you hated? Love the channel. If possible, I'd like to see some more game reviews. Thanks, and keep up the good work.
I can't not imagine Millhouse now after that intro. after that intro.
Yeah. Long time gamer, even longer time party animal.
So that's cool, man. That's cool. That's a good intro. Sorry, what was the question?
So that was Party Animal Legend of Peacock there, asking, have you ever played the game series, maybe on the back catalogue or something, even though you didn't really like it? So just to be clear, Darksiders 3 got a trailer out recently. It looks pretty cool. They hadn't played Darksiders before, so they just played 1 and 2. Loved the first one. Second one, they said they really didn't like anything about it apart from the combat. Have you ever played the game to completion that you hated? Or had a similar experience in that?
I hated.
Well, yeah, he's a hater, but it doesn't sound. He sounds like he enjoyed the combat, or she.
So I know exactly what they're going through with Darksiders, because I loved the first one. The second one was all right, but just didn't get to the same heights as the first one.
Yeah, I uninstalled it actually. The second one, 20 minutes in.
The second one was a bit of a disappointment. They tried to make it more of an RPG, and it just didn't work out in their favour.
First one's brilliant.
I don't know about a game.
I tap out though. That's the thing. If I'm not having a nice time, I'm like, call it a day, innit?
I mean, I've got the famous Never Stop Sneaking. Tales of Grace.
The saga.
For anyone that might be joining us on the old Spotify, iTunes, Castbox, can you relay the Never Stop Sneaking story? Because it is quite funny, this.
So I saw this game appear on the Nintendo eShop called Never Stop Sneaking. I thought, that looked pretty cool. It was meant to be a loving tribute or homage to Metal Gear Solid and PS1 stealth games. I was like, I'll play that. It was like $5.99. Why not? Played it for like 2 hours. Thought that was good. And then I came into work the next day. It's like the guys asked me how it was. I said it was good. Came in the next day, and I was like, they asked me, am I playing it more? I was like, it's getting a bit repetitive now. I might just I might not.
Captain's Log Day 2.
Yeah,
getting a bit repetitive.
Anyway, fast forward to 10 hours of the game later. And I finished it, and they asked me what was my final opinion of it. I said it was shit.
Yeah, it was the same thing, wasn't it? Over and over again, or something like that.
Well, it's once you've played the first level, you've played the entire game.
That's a damning critique.
And it goes
Never
on
stop sneaking.
If it goes on for 10 hours, if it was like a 4-hour game, it would have been great.
Damning critique is Liam's middle name, mate.
Liam Damning critique. Yeah, no, it's. I remember Liam slowly getting more sour, and it was like. Fourth day, how's Never Stop Sneaking? I asked him like, it's a joke,
my attitude.
and he was like, it's still the same. Still the same. But he did it. That's the thing, Liam. You finished quite a lot of games that you're not happy with.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't hate this one, but Alien Isolation could have been. It could have been a few hours shorter.
Loads of people say that. Loads of people.
Yeah, there's in a lot of the reviews.
I loved the first 5-6 hours of the game. Are brilliant. Loved it, but then it goes on for like another 3 hours. It's just like bye.
I'm in that bracket that it's just I don't care because it's on a space station in space, so I'm all right. I could play it for 40 hours if it was.
It didn't help that the final stretch of the game bugged out when I played it, and I had to restart. I lost an hour of progress.
Right.
So that did
enough to just make you think it's really worth it. Then.
I love that.
It took it from a 9 out of 10 down to like a 6 out of 10.
Whoa, Jim Sterling over it.
I know. It's ratings and everything.
It's I love that. I love the environmental decoration and stuff, and the music was absolutely directly from the films. A lot of it. But the way that you felt like you were walking through the set. Not just through a space station, you walk through the set of the film Alien, especially right at the beginning where you kind of wake up and you go through, it's so good.
Part's wonderful.
All the 70s kind of art design and computer consoles and stuff. I'm a sucker for that game. I really like it.
What games that you don't like that much?
Well, let me tell you. So this is probably going to be, and after just saying how much I love Alien Isolation, I probably just open myself up to all kinds of abuse in the comments. But I've got to say, Spec Ops: The Line. And I'm not saying, I hate it. It's just I played it about 6 months ago maybe, and it's not a long game. It's like 7 hours or something like that. At least, as far as I can remember. And it was just like a bad shooter that I played on mouse and keyboard. A bad third-person cover shooter with quite an interesting thing, but nothing that you haven't seen in like a million times in Apocalypse Now, Heart of Darkness, all that sort of stuff. It just kind of tries to do that a bit, and everyone is telling me that it's one of the best games ever because of that little twist. And it's just not a fun game to play. I didn't think, and it's just wave after wave after wave of shooting sections, and literally nothing else. There's nothing. There's a small amount of walking and a large amount of cutscenes, but mainly it's crouching, shooting, chucking grenades. And it's like someone saw Gears of War and went, let's do that, but about 5 times worse.
And then did this at the end. Makes you think, doesn't it?
Makes you think. But I appreciate what it was trying to do. But it's just, I think it's one of them of expectation where everyone tells you it's amazing and you play it and it's just... I imagine it was quite a nice surprise if you were reviewing it and then you were... Because, if you're reviewing it and then it has that kind of bite at the end and you're like, oh... That's quite, that's quite, and it's trying to paint, it directs you that way, and it looks like generic shooter in every other department. So I imagine it was a nice surprise for the reviewers and the people who played it without knowing, but not for me, man.
Got all the way through. I think the game I got all the way through and then looked back and was like, and it's BioShock. It got some good stuff.
Nice one, Jake. You just saved my ass, man. I was going to be replying to you now.
It's got some good bits, but it was really a real drag playing it. Really, I've mentioned this before, but that's the one. Because like you're saying, I tap out a lot of the time. If I don't like a game, why would I spend my time doing it, But BioShock, it was like, people saying, you need to get to the end, and all my friends were playing it. And that's the thing, I didn't buy it or anything. My mate lent it me, so then I felt even more inclined to sit through it. Because he was really, normally we have quite a lot in common, but there's something about that game, man, it's just so fucking drab. And then there's some really good bits to it, though. But the general trip getting there is just like, nah. So that's my answer for that.
I want to add another one as well. Assassin's Creed Unity. Don't ask me why.
Feeling brave now, eh?
No. That's easy. Unity, that's a soft target, mate. Yeah. Assassin's Creed Unity. I just played. I played all the way through that, looking for, because I used to really like Assassin's Creed. And I was trying to look for anything in it, and I like the crowd scenes and stuff in it, and the way that they've done that. And Paris is great, but it's also incredibly boring after 20 hours.
I felt the same way with The Division.
That's right. You played that recently.
Started the game, was really liking it. By the end of the game, I was annoyed at the bullet spongy enemies, the dying in 2 hits when enemies take half your ammo to take even one of them down.
Yeah.
You
smashed it as well, didn't you?
I did, yeah. It was very repetitive by the end as well, just like doing all the missions. They just didn't have enough variety.
There are certain games these days like that, and like Destiny and stuff, where it's designed to be dipped into. Because if you play Destiny every single day, I don't know how you do it, and I'm saying that as a fan of Destiny. I don't know how you'd play that every single day, because it is just a grindy, repetitive thing. But if you want to just check in every now and then. It's fine, but Division is definitely one. If you play it like that, I played Division, a lot since it came out, and if I can't really last more than a few days playing it, because I'll just go on to something else. So I just kind of run out of steam with it.
I guess Division and Destiny and stuff like that has an end game, so you can complete it, but then think, yeah, actually, I've done this. When you get to an end game and you get disappointed by that, that's like a big stinger, right? But yeah, thank you very much, Legend of Peacock.
Cheers.
Full-time party animal. It's time for Fact of the Week now.
Let's do it.
Now, I'm a bit worried about this one because it's so fucking good.
You got some in the jingle.
Summon the jingle. Mike? All right, thanks very much for that. Fact of the Week. If you game over in Super Mario Bros., the original, you can hold down the A button while you hit start in the start screen to go back to where you died. Thanks very much.
That's decent.
Yeah, I never knew that, so that's a good fact.
Yeah. So
Useful.
Yeah. I was a bit worried that it was a bit too good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's interesting though.
I never have that problem, mate. Sorry.
It's time for Dead's Cred Redemption now. This is the first time I've ever hosted one of these, so I'm very excited and first of all happy to be here. This is
it's a pleasure having you, Jack.
The thing is, this isn't a new section anymore because we've now got a new segment at the end. So this is just a segment. And what this is an anonymous confession booth and the ability the potential to be redeemed. What it is was we ask you guys to email us at gaming@goliath-media.com with your confessions, and we'll read them out and see what's happening. It's gaming sins, okay? If you feel you've done something that needs to be absolved, maybe you've tricked a friend, maybe you made a mistake and haven't owned up to it, maybe you conducted some sort of online heist, let us know.
Although less than them, please. More embarrassing stories.
Yeah. The thing about this is I feel like from the sort of attitude I've gathered lately when looking at this, is that
school report.
This isn't really... you're supposed to be sending these in to be absolved. Confessions, not bragging. Don't be going around bragging. A lot
some
of these
them are sick
saved.
brags.
A lot of these are like, it's like some sort of prison chat.
Yeah.
You guys are like, this time I got this.
We want more self-humiliation.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
We want people that are willing to be purged from themselves and from everyone around them of the guilt that they've been carrying. Not just telling us some story about
cool shit that you did.
Yeah, exactly.
I want embarrassing stuff.
This isn't,
brag. I mean, we want embarrassing stuff.
Oh, anyway, whatever. So we've got a genuine, heartfelt confession from an anonymous user, and if you would like to be one of these anonymous users that are free of the burden, again, that's gaming@goliath-media.com. Don't brag about it. Just let's all help you. Right, forgive me, Pretty Good Gamer, for I have sinned. I'll start by saying that I'm not entirely sure exactly what game or even what console I was playing at the time of this incident. Not a great start, I'll admit. What I do remember is that it was one of those pretend you can sing type games. SingStar, Lips, they're all the same, right? I was 15 at the time and was house sitting for a relative with my first ever girlfriend. Now this girl, who shall also remain anonymous, was a pretty good singer. She had singing lessons twice a week and was considering auditioning for the X Factor, back when that was still a thing. It still is, by the way. We ordered pizza, played some Smash Bros on the Wii, and moved on to the sing-off. After about 10 minutes, she started to get really frustrated and mad. I was acing every single track, and her scores kept coming out low, really low. At this point, I started to get overconfident in my own ability. For a split second, I genuinely thought I was an undiscovered singing talent. No. I had in fact failed to notice that the microphones for player 1 and 2 were the wrong way around. By the time I realised, it was too late. I had already started to boast about how I was a better singer than her, and that even without singer lessons, I was beating her. There was no going back.
There is such a thing as a sore winner.
I told her that I didn't want to play anymore and turned the game off as quickly as I could before she found out. Fast forward 6 months, she quit her singing lessons, never showed up to the X Factor auditions, and we stopped dating. We haven't spoke to each other since 2009, and she still doesn't know to this day.
Do you know?
Please forgive me, or at least laugh at my story amongst yourselves. Anonymous.
It's really nice that you think that is what you haven't said, and therefore she quit singing lessons and we broke her. But that's kind of the implication, isn't it? Like that because you beat her at SingStar. Well, not really. She thought you beat her at SingStar. That your relationship broke down, her singing career was abandoned, and she didn't apply for a reality TV show. All from that one fateful night. Just be honest, innit? What? First of all, why were you gloating? Do you know what I mean? Who's going when you when you're sick, you're like, I'm a better singer than you. What a shit thing to gloat about anyway.
I mean, they were teenagers.
We apologize for the break in this podcast, just as Liam was about to share his thoughts on teenagers too. Shame. Okay, it looks like we can return to the podcast now.
Well, this is such a funny story, like, because, you know, it's his first ever girlfriend, you're getting some pizza. What a great way to make your girlfriend feel good about herself, doesn't go, because she's been feeling bad about being frustrated, and then you'll go and, do you know, look, they're the wrong way around. That's the perfect way of going, look, see, I know you're feeling bad, but look, it was me being shit.
I'm shit.
But instead, you've decided to double down on it and go, ha ha, all those singing lessons for what?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, do you want to play Smash again? So
I'll probably beat you at that.
Yeah. This is the thing. You've come in at the right time because you know that you're in the wrong. You've not bragged about this. You're feeling bad about it.
Yes, indeed.
So
by the very act of coming forward with a story.
Yeah, so humbly as well, and the fact that you've realised your mistakes. I feel forgiveness could happen. It might be a bit awkward if you did reach out to her now. It's been nearly 10 years just to say, hey, remember that one night? Because first of all, she's going to be like, hang on a minute, what night? And then you're going to be like, you know, the SingStar night.
She's been going to counselling and stuff because her singing career was ended.
You know what I mean? Unless you think it affected her that bad, maybe don't get in touch with her 9 years later to tell her that the controls are wrong around. Yeah. She might just think that you're just using it to try and torture her again and be like, oh, he's just going to try and lure me into a false sense of security so he can beat me at Radiohead Fake Plastic Trees again on SingStar Lips. Don't do that. But what you can do is sleep well in the knowledge that you are now forgiven.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What we should do is, you know, we're already kind of infringing on the Rockstar trademark by using Dead Cred Redemption. Yeah. We should do it with.
Don't say it out loud. Don't acknowledge it.
We should do it with Absolver as well.
Culpability.
And culpability. It's called Dead Cred Redemption. We use their music and the fucking art. It's a gaming channel. It's Creative Commons fair use of it. We should do it with Absolver, innit? Get Absolver. Change the R to a D. Absolved.
Yeah. I reckon Mike.
Or Absolve with a D, but then like a Bruce Lee kind of because it's a kung fu thing.
Yeah.
And just make it a thematic mess.
You won't get sued into oblivion. Yeah.
Yeah. Just mix. Do what Jim Sterling does and mix up so many copyright issues. Deadlocks. Yeah.
There's nothing proprietary around the world absolved. So yeah.
Exactly.
Or Bruce Lee. They don't own Bruce Lee. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, so yeah, I feel that you are forgiven. And again, if there's people out there that are looking for not validation of your horrendous acts against humanity and the gaming community, and instead there's hope in your heart that you can find forgiveness, feel free to email us at gaming@goliath-media.com. The sermon will be here every week, and we'll try our hardest to help you find transcendence and be free of the guilt. So thank you very much, Anonymous.
Find transcendence is a new feature that was never promised, but we'll do that. We'll do that as well.
Yeah.
Sort you out.
I've watched a lot of David Lynch interviews. All right. Okay. So part 2 of the questions, and this is from Dread Pirate Dylan. Greetings, long-time gamer, new to Patreon. No mention of being a party animal, so love the show. I finally decided to purchase a Switch, with Zelda Breath of the Wild being my first game. Do you have any advice / suggestions on what other games / accessories / setup I should have on day one to start me off on this new adventure?
Captain Toad Treasure Tracker.
Yeah. Captain Toad's had a good rap this episode.
In all seriousness, if you play it docked a lot, investing in the Pro Controller is a pretty good one. That's what I did.
Yeah.
And I do not regret it a single second.
Get a hard carry case.
Yeah, if you travel a lot.
So you can take it with you.
They're about a tenner.
Yeah, they're not a lot. They're all very similar. They've all got like little nooks for the controls, and they've all got like they're all got photos of, you know, the special soft zip inside, so it doesn't scratch the screen. But they're all the same. So have a look for one of them. That's my top suggestion, I reckon. And have a look on the eShop. The eShop is you know, they're very full of stuff, but there's a deals category, which they update quite regularly.
Like weekly, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's more often, you know. I think it's a couple. I think they just add stuff in whenever. There seems to be no rhyme or reason to it, from what I can tell. But there's currently, it depends where you are in the world, but in Britain there's currently about 130 deals. Some of them are all right, some of them are quite good. But yeah, keep an eye on the eShop for deals. And games are generally very, very expensive, so don't expect to have your library building quickly.
I think that's a pretty good tip. obviously the Switch is made to be portable, but if you're just going to be carrying it around in a pocket or a bag, then you're in trouble.
Get a case, yeah.
Yeah, and then I haven't got a controller, so I can't speak for it, and I've had mine for about a month and a half, 2 months, something like that.
The Pro controller is hands down one of the most comfortable controllers I've ever used.
Out of every console?
Out of every controller I've ever...
That's a hearty recommendation there. So.
Very good, very sturdy, well built.
Hopefully that's enough to set you off, just so I can add one in. Do you mean don't download Fortnite because you'll spend ages playing it? Instead, just get
these finely curated Nintendo games.
Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, yeah, get that.
Mario Kart 8, Mario
Odyssey, there's loads of good first parties. Anyway, that is probably enough to get you started, and I hope you enjoy Zelda Breath of the Wild. Keep us posted, Dread Pirate Dylan. Cheers for your question. Jay Jackson next. Hi guys, great material as always. Thanks, Jay. What is the scariest game you have ever played? For me, it's Project Zero on the Xbox, also on PS2.
It's a wild good game if you've never played it.
The fucking camera game.
Yeah, you take pictures of ghosts.
What was it called in?
Fatal Frame.
Fatal Frame, yeah.
Project Zero.
You hear a lot about Fatal Frame, but here we had it as Project Zero. It was. I had it. I swear I had it on the GameCube.
They did a Wii version.
That's what it was. It was the Wii. Yeah, it was the Wii, not the GameCube. Yeah, it was. That's creepy. That one particular scene, isn't it, where there's like a girl and then there's a sister's hands on the shoulder, but then a sister walks past her on the other side.
Yeah.
So whose hand was that? And then there's the whole. You've got to confront the ghost by snapping pictures of them.
Yeah.
It's terrifying because it puts you...
You can't really run away from it.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? You're like, what's the first thing people do when they hear ghosts or what? They turn around, they run away, they close their eyes, all sorts of things. The thing that you don't want to do is stare directly into the thing that's causing you fear to catch up. That's what the game forces you to do. So it's such a clever way of making you confront terror to stop it. Confront terror. That sounds like a fucking Sacha Baron Cohen sketch. No, I'm on about the ghosts and all that, and then the story gets pretty crazy if I remember, like to do with like demons in wells and all this shit.
Cults and everything.
Yeah, so really good.
It's a really good series, Project Zero.
Yeah. I feel like people don't talk about it enough, but there's a lot of scary games, a lot of great horror games, but I don't find that many of them scary. I find them oppressive.
I think I've played every major horror game. Probably, because I just really like them. Yeah. The scariest though, I'm gonna have to say PT. That was going in not knowing it was like related to Silent Hill or Kojima or anything like that, and it was just so unnerving.
Yeah, that woman's face and that is like, and then that guy standing on the top of the fucking
like the bloody fridge dangling from the light and stuff, and
the fact that it uses that repetition. Yeah, like you know the layout, and then it fucks you that way. It's just very, very scary.
Like there's that. I think it's one of the loops you go through it. It's normal. It's just looping around. Everything looks fine. You just hear a baby start crying. And it's so creepy.
Yeah, it's terrifying, and I think that the repetition really ramps it up because here we go again. What next? And it makes you relive that same thing, but different every time. So yeah, it was really scary. It was hard to play through. That was. Yeah. I find like a lot of games aren't scary, but I find them oppressive. Like I'm saying, like getting ammo and struggling like that. Dead Space I didn't like because I always felt like I was running out of ammo. And by didn't like, I meant, it made me feel on edge. Resi 4, even Resident Evil 5 to an extent, even though it's not at all scary. I was like, but PT, I struggled to go through it. I was like having to psych myself up. I remember playing Resident Evil 7 demo when I had that same feeling.
The whole opening section of Resident Evil 7 is decent. Like the whole, just
completely
rocking up there and seeing the father like walking around in the wood, the kind of swampy woods before the cabin. Yeah. He just kind of walks past and it's
seeing a ghost is the scariest. I saw because I think there's 6 sightings or something like that in the demo there was of ghosts. Yeah. And I saw one, and I was speaking to my mate who played it loads, and he hadn't seen it. Luckily, there was people on the internet that because I was thinking, fucking hell, what the hell? You know what I mean? Yeah. That was creepy. But as a game as a whole, it does ease off. So. PT is, I reckon I'm going to say.
PT was kind of similar with the random appearances. Like you could be walking past the window and the ghost should just be there like smiling at you through the window.
It's like terrifying. That. Yeah, PT has got to be. Yeah, I've got to join you on that, Liam. I reckon. What are you, Mike? Quite a lot of them, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm going to put it in there, not out of because you said you didn't like it, but Alien Isolation, because of how unpredictable the alien is. Yes. When by design is just like a AI controlled scatterbrained. You don't know what it's going to do next, and you might. he might turn around and walk away, or he might kind of think, did I hear something, and come at you like really quickly, and the fact that you couldn't fight it off really unless you had certain kind of weapons and stuff, but even then that was only temporary. I was in terms of pure like tension of and the fact as well that if you made too much noise, even if the alien wasn't there, he would show up, which I thought was awesome. They would just drop through the roof and just like ruin your day kind of thing. So that just in terms of like, be careful, be quiet, and just general tension, I think I'll give that a shout, because otherwise might also just be Bloodborne, Dead Space, or anything else in it. So I might sort of go in for another scary sci-fi thing. So that's
I love that in film and TV, horror done well is always outstanding, but for the majority it's tacky and bad. And there's loads of games like you were saying in Bloodborne, Dead Space, loads of games, and Silent Hill, Resident Evil, even though they're not remembered for being scary, they've all got these horror
theme,
and they seem to do really well. So Jay, great question, and Project Zero, good shout. Simon, difficult last name next. That's his actual name on this. I mean, with all the choices matter stuff going on at E3 this year, have you ever regretted a choice in a game so much that you reloaded a previous save or even restarted?
Yeah. I remember kicking someone out a window in Mass Effect 2 and then going, maybe I shouldn't have done that. And then kind of, there's some reporter or something, and she's just kind of asking you a lot of questions like this, and I didn't realise that that's what it would be. But Shepard like punches her in the face. Shepard like full on just whacks her.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but I didn't realise that it was just because they would just say renegade, and it would like press right trigger if you want to do something badass, and I was like, okay. But he just whacks her, and that was what. So that's twice in Mass Effect where I've kind of done something and gone, I'm not really happy with what I've just done there, and then redone it. Also in Dragon Age Origins, because that wasn't a morality system, that was your party's opinions. So they would say, I'm not happy with what you've just done there, and sometimes it was quite unpredictable. So they had, each character had their own like morality, and sometimes you would decide, I'll do this, and then like Morrigan or would be like, what have you done that for? It's so stupid, and I really pissed Morrigan off, and I was like, I'm trying to do whatever there, I want to keep her on board because she's one of my main party members. So I would reload to keep her happy and do the kind of thing that whatever she wanted to do, because it had like kind of gameplay ramifications and stuff. So. But both BioWare games, both not recent, but both BioWare games that aren't Baldur's Gate or Knights of the Republic.
Yeah, interesting choice. Liam, what have you got?
This one's going to come completely out of nowhere. Okay. Has anyone ever played Army of Two?
I played Army of Two, the first one. I don't know if I played the 40th Day.
The 40th Day was a sequel, right? And they did this whole choices matter thing.
Yeah.
Like, kind of, it was like around time BioShock was making it like the next big thing. And at the end of the game, you get given a choice. You can either like kill the main villain or kill your partner, and you'll save the world. But I was like, no, he's bluffing. So I killed the main villain. The world's just like terrorist attack happens. It's like, oh shit.
Oh, and
it made me feel bad. So I was like, I just saved my bro.
Liam, you're a gold mine, mate. That's two. If I'd had 200 guesses, I never would have got Army of Two.
Because it was at the end of the game. I was like, I'm going to save my bro. And this guy's bluffing. But no, he wasn't bluffing.
Oh, that's a good show, though. I like the way you think. I like the way of course, he would just lie, wouldn't he? Like, why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he?
Like, he's gone through all this effort.
Yeah.
And like,
he'd say anything.
Yeah. It was just a test of your friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's over.
But so I kept my AI mate alive, but caused a nuclear detonation.
Shafted the world.
Yeah. I think that's how it happens.
So it's like the Life is Strange kind of thing. I don't ever reload games like when the big decision happens, because I'm always so paranoid that my little decisions are going to lead up to an event. And it's when I don't know what it means.
Yeah.
I get paranoid about it. So like Life is Strange, for example, I don't know, like Warren or whatever. He's like, go on a date with me or whatever he says. Go and watch Planet of the Apes, and I'm like, no. And then it's like says that he did something, and I'm like, oh, fuck, okay. Then there's a part where there's like someone called Kate. I've just talked her out of killing herself, and then she's in hospital, and then I can pick, and then it like doesn't have any big, huge, like, nothing happens, but I could have either, I think, gone to see her or gone to see Chloe or something. I didn't know which one to pick. I picked Chloe, and then I was like feeling bad about it for like a minute. I was like, right, go back. I didn't like nothing even happened, but I'm so worried about how it might end up. It's like in Divinity Original Sin 2, we had this thing where it was like some wizard lizard woman, and we were like,
oh yeah,
do we kill her? Do we not kill her? So we weren't.
So
we
it was
quit loading it, didn't we?
We were like the third party, and there was a big like wizard character who was having a fight with a bunch of other NPCs, and then we rolled in, and the obvious thing to do was to like join the NPCs, right?
Yeah.
But the NPCs that we're talking about aren't like good guys or anything, strictly speaking, or anything, and she wasn't clearly a villain, so we were trying everything we could to like befriend her, right? Yeah, before triggering the battle.
And we quick loaded, we tried to speak to her. She ended up like killing herself to summon like demons. Yeah. Then there was one where we ended up accidentally killing her. Then there was one where, so we were like,
we reloaded loads. Yeah,
we had to think about it. So I guess that's a time where there was a tough choice, and we had to previously load a game. Yeah. So thank you, Simon. Difficult last name. McQuaddles next. If you could hang out with any video game character in real life for one day, who would you choose and what would you do together? Hang out with a character from a game just for a day.
I'm sure we've had something like this before.
I think, people say that, ask us quite often, like, if you could be friends with one of them just for a day. I try and get somebody who was a good storyteller to tell me stories about the world that they've been in. So Dandelion from The Witcher 3, because he would tell me many a tale about things he's seen, maybe things he's not seen, and he's just making them up. But I'd love to hear the tales of old and the weird ones about giant monsters.
No, that's good. That's good. I think I would. I don't know. Maybe like the AI or something from Mass Effect, the ship AI, because she just knows loads of stuff. And she knows everything. So it'd be like, people say it's like hanging out with Stephen Fry when someone's really smart and knows loads of facts. Yeah, it's like better than that, isn't it? It's like better than Stephen Fry.
Yeah, you could pull up like the archives in the log for planets and stuff.
Exactly, and exactly, because in the if you assume that the Mass Effect, because the fiction is that it's the real Earth and the real galaxy and real universe, she would know loads about planets and astronomy and stuff. So she would like actually have like cool stuff to tell me about space.
A ship. I mean, it's a character, so
she's given a robotic form at one point. Is she? I think in the whole of Mass Effect 3. I can't remember rightly, but she's like a party member. Yeah, that's got like loads of skills and that.
That's a great answer, Liam. What have you got?
I can't really think of one, so I'm just going to give a stupid answer.
Yeah, go on.
Solaire. Why not?
Yeah,
he's a nice guy, man.
Because he's a lovely guy.
Dark Souls, right?
He just like he'd want to sit and I imagine he'd want to just like sit on a wall and like look at the sun with you, and he'll like recount his tales of knighthood,
of heroism. Yeah, essentially, yeah. I guess.
Although I feel like he would just jump into a fight, and you'd be like, shit. Yeah, I've got to do I have to help him out now?
Solaire.
Come on, Solaire. Because he's a brave knight. And if he saw any kind of injustice, he would just like leap into it.
You'd have to keep him somewhat quiet.
Yeah, you would. You have to keep him out of the way. And,
I think if it was because he's a good guy, he'd only be stopping injustices. So he'd be stopping a mugging or something.
Yeah, but that's the police job, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's
right. Right, Mike's on the side of the law. And whip out a sword.
Think about this realistically. God damn it! Right,
think about
you're going to be in court because some guy with a sword cut someone in half, maybe, and you're like, well, you were there, you were helping this guy. Yeah, well,
All right, I've got another answer. Professor Oak from Pokemon.
Yes, because he could give you so much good knowledge about Pokemon.
He'd give you a Pokemon.
And he'd give you a Pokemon.
He'd give you a Pokemon and a Pokedex.
Yeah.
And he'd just tell you about all his wonderful travels across the Pokemon regions. There you go.
That's a
proper answer.
And you got the fucking lore off your back now as well, haven't you? So the final question is from Gareth. It's from Gareth McLeave. Thank you, McQuaddles. This is quite an open question, quite a simple question.
Go on.
Like Gareth always does. He brings the heat. Mm-hmm. What games should I save for a rainy day? A rainy day. I'm taking this to mean that it's a game that you're going to sit and play for a long time in one big session.
But isn't urgently you should play it right now as well.
I like a nice management sim sort of thing. By management sim, what am I on about? Stardew Valley. Get me?
That's a good one.
That means something very different to what I thought you were going to say.
Oh, what do you think I was going to say?
Like Tropico, wasn't it?
No, yeah.
Or Theme Hospital.
Yeah, I'm like a farm management sim. Stardew Valley's good. I was really into Graveyard Keeper. We streamed it once, and I was aware it made a very boring stream, but I was really into that. I felt like I was completely by myself. Like I was well into it, and it's like Stardew Valley, but with more dead bodies in it.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's not super edgy. It's got like a real good it's got a good vibe to it. It's quite funny and stuff like that. I'd recommend checking it out. I don't know if it's in alpha still, but Graveyard Keeper was really good. Stardew Valley, maybe even like Starbound, something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I got for you.
Yeah, RPGs are always a good shout.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if it's rainy day, you don't want to go outside, you don't want to, like get caught in the bad weather. Just put on an RPG because they usually go at a more relaxed pace.
Actually, JRPGs.
Yeah, so just like you can kick back, chill out, and just enjoy. Let yourself go on a journey.
Yeah, into a sunnier climate probably.
Yeah.
Let's face it.
Unless it's like, I don't know, Skyrim or whatever.
Yeah, but horrible clouds. Then again, that's a perfect rainy day game, Skyrim.
Yeah.
Because you can just wander endlessly doing quests.
Yeah. What you got for us, Mike?
I'm going to say Wasteland 2, right? Because it's perfect. It's perfect kind of, you don't have to, it's not that good that I would say play it right now. But it is a very good kind of CRPG type game, and I don't think a lot of people really gave it any attention. If you like Fallout and that kind of thing, it's like it's got that, but it's a proper kind of CRPG style game, but with XCOM style tactics.
Yeah.
Where you take cover and all this, and you got a party of 4, which I think you can expand to about 6 later on, and it's just cool. It's just a very like CRPGs are. It's a very deep, involving game that takes a long time to play through, and it's very kind of unassuming. And I don't know what it is about it, because when I played it when it came out, and I thought it was just really great. And everyone's getting excited about Divinity Original Sin, which is I am, and it's excellent. Divinity Original Sin is much better than Wasteland 2, but Wasteland 2 is just kind of one of these that have come up
by the wayside.
Yeah, it just came with this wave of like Pillars of Eternity and those the other ones that I can't even remember the names of, like Torment and
Tides of Numenera.
Yeah, there's loads of them, and that's just one that is coming to the Switch next month actually. And it's perfect for that, because it is quite a laid back experience to play, but it's just a cool, and it's a different spin on that. It's not fantasy, is it? It's like Mad Max-ish apocalypse stuff. So that's mine. It's a cool game. Play that.
Thank you very, very much for your questions this week, guys. And yeah, we've got one section left. This is something that it's debuted only last week.
Fresh content.
Fresh content alert. I don't know. We haven't got a jingle for fresh content alert, so
let's make one. Fresh content.
This is real set era or not real set era. So the internet's a wonderful place, and it's full of wells of knowledge, and it's a cornucopia for conversation. And reset.
Please tell me you wrote that down beforehand.
I haven't written that down. I don't want.
It's a cornucopia for.
I don't want Liam to look at the screen because it's the.
Oh yeah, because it's yeah.
So Reset Era is a great gaming forum where a lot of discussion gets.
Many call it a cornucopia of conversation.
Yeah, for real. And there's a lot of in-depth conversation there. The thing is, though, a lot of the time in forums or on the internet, if you make a conversation that's already been had before, mods ban you. So what people do is they scrape the bottom of the barrels of their brain to think of a conversation that hasn't been had before and try and be very serious about often silly things. So,
very specific things.
Very specific things. So Liam and Mike can work together, or you can go against each other. We'll, and I'm going to read you 5 potential forum threads, and you just tell me if they're real set era or not real set era. So number 1, I resigned from my job, got a new job, hated it, got another, hate it. Is that a real reset era thread or a fake reset era thread?
I think that's a lot of characters.
Yeah,
that's a lot of letters.
I'll read that again. I resigned from my job, got a new job, hated it, got another, hate it.
The vocabulary seems a bit too simplistic for
I'm going to say not real set era.
Yeah, okay, let's go for that.
It was real set era, guys.
Oh,
it was real set era.
So this is under. You've not gone under the video games bit.
Well, the thing is, because I know that you guys have been scouring the video games section for articles, news, or whatever we see, I've either gone to the regular thread, or when it comes to game stuff, I've gone back, way back, because there's, again, cornucopia of conversation, years.
I must warn you though, in the interest of putting this segment together, I have also gone way back in the video games one.
Well, I was page like 512, so hopefully
that's dangerously close to where I was. But
so,
let's see.
4 left. Okay, next. Was Naruto's drive to save Sasuke unhealthy? Real set era or not real set?
That's real.
I want to believe. So I'm going to say
that's
real.
Real. That was a real set era. Okay, there's only 3 left. Number 3. Why do people hate Persona 4 so much? Wait, does Hero actually hate it too? Poll inside. Is that real set era or not?
That's real. That's real.
Is that real set era or not real set era?
Real.
Please be real.
It's not real set era. I made it up. Okay, 2 left. All right. People on Reset Era with significant others. Why? Real set era or not real set era?
That can't be real. That can't be. People say that again.
People on Reset Era with significant others. Why?
That can't be real.
Real set era.
Let's just say it's not.
I reckon not real.
It's not real set era. I made that as well. And the final one, the bonus round. Real set era or not real set era? Your personal state of mind. Your personal state of mind. This is I honestly been laughing about this for ages. Your personal state of mind.
You've got to read it. So.
Your personal state of mind. Destiny 2 edition. Your personal state of mind. Destiny 2 edition.
That's real.
Yeah, let's go real.
Although Jake does find himself very funny, so I could imagine him coming up with something and laughing that hard at it.
We would have heard him laughing in the office.
He was laughing a bit, but
hard, then?
I can't tell if he was typing at the time or just looking at it. Yeah. I'm gonna say real because hopefully you're not laughing that much at your own.
It was real. Your personal state of mind. Destiny 2 edition. Sounds like
if you'd thought of that, though,
the bonus.
If you'd thought of that, you'd definitely laugh that much at your own.
Well, I'm struggling to breathe here. So it's probably a good time to end this podcast. Thanks very much for sticking around for podcast episode number 74 of the Pretty Good Gaming Podcast. Liam McKelvey and usual host Mike Williams have joined me, Jake Klukowski, today. And again, if you want to listen to this episode again, or the audio version, or listen to it on your travels, we're now on Spotify, we're now on iTunes, we're now on Castbox, your favourite podcast providers. If you want to ask a question, all you need to do is support us on Patreon, which should be around here somewhere, maybe at the bottom of the screen now, maybe in the link to the description. Do that. Ask us many, many questions. If you want to send a dead Cred Redemption, you can email it. Thank you very, very much. See you soon. Bye. Boys.